What's up? My name is Stan Lake. Welcome to this episode of Catching Creation. We are looking in gold mines and all around some other sketchy random places. Let's go. About to go into a dragon's lair. Let's see what we can find. Okay, actually, we're going into a gold mine, an abandoned gold mine from the late 1800s. Nothing says sketchy like abandoned mine. Let's go on in. Right now we're looking for bats. This time of year, bats will come in here and go into what's called torpor, which is like a hibernation state for bats. It's almost still a little bit too warm, but we're just seeing if anybody's hanging out in here during the day. And this cave is empty, and it looks like the far end of the cave has been caved in, so that now we can no longer go all the way through, so we have to turn around and go back. Crazy times. Come on this side. There's a little gray tree frog. He's just kind of crawling around over here. He must have been hiding behind some of the bark as we were peeking for other things. And it's a great place to find these guys. See, when a tree like this dies, it creates another habitat for animals, like this guy, this gray tree frog. Now what happens is he's able to get in between where the bark is pulling away from the tree as the tree is dying, and it helps him in a couple areas. Number one, it gives him a place to be hidden. Even though he's very camouflaged, it also hides him even further from predators. And another more practical thing is the fact that there are so many bugs back there. He's able to eat all kinds of insects because they also utilize dead trees. Now this animal is a really cool animal. He's got what's called aposematic coloration, which are these bright, you see he's a really drab little frog, but if you look, if you can see it, these little bright yellow flecks on the inside of his legs. Now they use this as a warning to show that they are a little bit toxic. And before this summer, I would have said, yeah, okay, maybe mildly, maybe a little bit, it wouldn't be a big deal. Well, I caught one this summer, and I guess he released a little bit of his toxin, and I rubbed my eye thinking a bug got in there. When I did that, I swiped in there tons of the poison that was secreted from his skin, and it felt like somebody poured rubbing alcohol in my eyeball for about an hour, and I was being a baby about it. It was no fun. And I learned a valuable lesson, though, that these guys do have that, a little bit of a mild toxin, and to take it seriously, because they were designed with this as a way to protect themselves against their predators, and in that moment he thought I was his predator, but I'm really his friend. This box turtle, we just found him just laying here. I thought he was dead, and the sad thing is he's probably gonna die soon. He looks like a really old male, but you could tell that he's kind of desiccated, like he's lost all his moisture. He's really dehydrated. His eyes are real milky. I mean, he does look like a really, really old male. It's real sad. It makes me sad. You know, I don't know what to do with him other than just let him go on his way and let nature take its course. I mean, see, he's trying to bite me, not really to hurt me, but to get me away. He's reaching his head back to get me. They're a good-natured animal, and it breaks my heart to see him like this, but what do you do? We're just going to put him back where we found him and let him, you know, continue to do whatever he was going to do. Maybe getting a little bit of sunshine on this berm will help him to find enough energy to get water or whatever it is that he needs.
right, guys, check it out. Right now I'm with one of my favorite animals. This is the eastern pipistrelle bat. We are inside of an old gold mine shaft. Two things I'm doing right now I sincerely tell you not to do. Number one, don't play with bats. Number two, don't go exploring an old gold mine shaft. It's dangerous. But check this animal out. He is a great animal that shows how he's a specialist. He has what's called echolocation. He sends out signals when he's flying around at night. He can't see very well at night, so what he does is he sends these signals out with echolocation, which is like sonar or radar, and he's able to find his food. He's able to kind of hone in on his food, and when he gets so close, it's like a buzz. It's like brrr, the sound that comes back and forth so fast that it almost sounds like a buzz. Now, I got to study these guys in college, and I was really excited to do so. I learned so much about these wonderful animals. One thing I learned was that they take care of animals like insects, like mosquitoes and other animals. And so they're a really good beneficial animal for our ecosystem because they take care of all these animals and insects and nasty things that we don't like. They eat them every night. Now, all bats don't have rabies, only a small percentage do. But just because a small percentage do, we want to tell you not to mess with them. And more importantly, we don't want to harm or hurt the animal. Now, bats lately have been afflicted with a disease called white nose syndrome, which is a fungus that kind of causes them to have this white residue around their nose. So if you ever see a bat like that, please report it to someone so that we can help these guys. Thankfully, this guy doesn't have that. Now, if we're looking for a biblical parallel with this guy, we can think about how when we send signals or prayers out to God, we oftentimes don't know if these things are going to come true. We just have to believe by faith. And the similar with this guy, when he sends these signals out, he has to rely on his design, on the things, the mechanisms that God's given him so that he can find his prey and his food source. Now, 2 Corinthians 5:7 basically says that we operate by faith and not by sight. See, sometimes we don't always see the outcome, but we know that God is in control and he'll never leave us nor forsake us. So we know without a doubt that God's got our best interest at heart despite what it looks like in the short term. I mean, think about guys like Abraham in the Bible. If he had not stepped out in faith, we would not even have this religion to talk about because he's essentially one of the founders of Judaism, which ultimately turned into Christianity. So we got to think about that every step of faith could affect generations to come. And just like this animal, we've got to... He just flew off. And I didn't know that they could take off from a flat position like that because I've always been told that they can't. Well, I guess he was elevated just enough and he flew right by Chance's ear. Which brings me to another point. Bats aren't going to get caught in your hair. People think, oh no, a bat's going to get stuck in my hair. Ew, ew, ew. Bats' echolocation is so fine-tuned that they can see a strand of hair, much less a whole head of hair. So get that myth out of your arsenal because bats are awesome. Check this guy out. I'm trying to talk at a lower volume because it echoes really bad in here. This is another eastern pipistrelle. This is the second one we found. And this guy is roosting upside down. Now, bats will do that. They're designed that way because a lot of times it's easier for a bat to let go and glide and then take off because bats aren't designed like a bird to take off and fly from the ground. So a lot of times a bat has to get a little elevation before it can fly. And this guy is showing us that. Now, these guys roost in here during the day, and at night they exit the mine shafts and they go foraging for food. It's amazing to see. And in winter, because these things are thermoregulated, these mine shafts at about 50 degrees, they're able to go into what's called torpor, which is kind of like a hibernation that they can wake up from, basically, if it gets warm enough. So when it's warm, they can go out and forage, and when it's too cold, they stay in here in torpor, kind of like suspended animation, and they'll conserve their energy. That's why if you ever see one in the winter and he's covered in dew, like he's been there for a long time, you don't want to mess with them because they'll expend too much energy getting away from you, and they won't be able to replace the energy lost when it's too cold to forage outside. So always remember that. And if you see a bat, again, please don't mess with it. They really need our help, and we don't need to prolong any ill effects on them with white nose syndrome or any other diseases. So we're going to leave this guy alone. I'm going to look at him just enough to see if he's got the disease, and we're going to keep going. He looks good.
So after we found this guy at the mouth of the mine, we noticed that we really weren't that far from a creek. And I know I said I wasn't going to interfere, but again, it just kind of breaks my heart to see this guy dying, and it looks like he's obviously dehydrated. So at the very least, if he dies, that's fine, because he's probably really old. But we're going to let him go near this creek so that at the very least he can get a drink of water. Let's get you down in there, buddy. How's that? Better? So these guys, these box turtles, they can live upwards of 50 years, some even longer than that. So it's not rare to find one in this kind of shape. When they do get old and they start to die, they'll do this, what he's doing. They'll start to desiccate, get weak, and if he gets too dehydrated, then he essentially just dies. I mean, every time that I would look at him, he was just laying full sprawled out. That's not normal characteristic for a turtle. But again, in one last-ditch effort to hope that he survives, we just let him go down here, and if he decides to die, at least he'll be, you know, at least it won't be our fault. So, just a wonderful animal. We could tell that he's a male box turtle because of the bright coloration all over his neck and arms. His bright colored eyes, they're like an orangey red, and he's got the indent in his plastron, which helps him with breeding with females. So we're just going to leave him alone. Daniel just found a huge fishing spider, and he says, "Do you want to catch him?" Of course I want to catch a huge spider. Why not? After chasing him down, he's good and tired, good and angry. This is a fishing spider. He's not as big as they get. They get quite a bit larger, but he's still an awesome ambush predator. They don't really cast a web like a lot of spiders. They kind of hang out under and around things. They make a small web, but not in the normal sense of a spider where hanging from a tree. He does it on the ground, similar to a tarantula, and he reaches out and grabs his prey like a characteristic of any ambush predator. So I'm gonna throw him on Daniel now, or not. Remember when I mailed my beard to Thomas? Now I got a handlebar mustache. That's all I got. Check it out. I found a grub worm under the rock. Grubs are a larval form of most beetles. Chance is really hungry. Was it good? I heard they taste like peanuts. It tastes like butt. Ew.
It's like eating a small bag of sand and dirt. Daniel, you want a persimmon?
I do. I've had a fig today, a muscadine, Concord grape, and I found a pawpaw the other day, but I've never tried a persimmon. Are they good?
Yeah.
You just bite into it?
Yeah. It's good to eat it raw.
No, my mouth stuck together. Oh.
Granny mouth.
Oh, my teeth has hair. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, man, that's so weird.
Chance, what we learn?
Don't eat an unripe persimmon.
I love that Chance is not in the back of the vehicle. Clearly.
Everybody keeps saying we're gonna see a Bigfoot, man. I hope we do.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. Because I know the guy didn't come through about the rattlesnakes, but I mean, how often do you really see rattlesnakes? Bigfoot, on the other hand, that seems pretty legit.
What is that, dude? What is that in the middle of the road? Hit it with the car! Hit it with the car! backups you've been getting?
I think it's a brown bear. No, it's a black bear!
Chance, jump into the back of the truck if you go by.
As we go by, Chance.
Yeah, might as well stay there.
We got one. We got one. Hey, we're gonna pull over and let you get in just in case there's some angry country folk up here at the outpost, okay? But really this time.
I should be filming that. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
You're giving up too easy, Chance. I don't think you really want to go home.
He's walking like the Sasquatch. You've been watching Catching Creation, and I hope to see you here again. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe right now. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, go there and do that now. And if you haven't seen our website, just go to catchingcreation.com and check out all the other cool stuff that we've been doing. Later.
Now, the more I think about that story, that was a Bigfoot.